Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome back. If you are a returning supporter, I want to take a moment to say thank you to all of the channel members. Thank you to Journey with Kiki, Kimberly Davis, Ashray Artist Management, Poetic Beauty for being a member of the channel, and hope that you are enjoying the perks of being a member. Welcome to Nurturing Conversations podcast. I am your host, I Shell, also known as Shell. Tonight's topic is leading with love. I'm going to go ahead and get my disclaimers out the way, and then we are going to kick this conversation into overdrive. Um, I do not tolerate disrespect in any way, shape, form, or fashion that is towards me, towards anyone that appears in the chat, towards anyone that appears on the screen. It is 2023. We are 22 days in. If you have not decided to live your life in a positive manner, I want you to consider that today. There will be curse words. There will possibly be tears. Um, Many of the views expressed in this podcast are my opinions, and you are entitled to your own opinions. And all I ask is that when you come here, just have an open mind and be willing to have a dialect, have a conversation, shall we say, about your opinions so that we can better understand each other. Um, I am not a mental health professional. I am just one woman willing to share my personal experiences to let you know two things. One, you are not alone. It might feel like no one else in this great big old world is experiencing the same thing as you, but there are people who do. They just not comfortable or not at a place where they want to talk about it just yet. And number two, you can overcome anything that life throws at you. I'm a living witness of that. You are looking at someone who has overcame insurmountable odds and still able to smile, have her right mind. And Sylvie, hi Fatina. I messaged you. I don't know if we got a new number, but I messaged you. But yeah, so those are my disclaimers. Now, if you come in here with that foo-foo, I'm telling you, it's 2022. I'm not with it. I'm with all the shits. I just told you I was gonna be cuss words. I'm with all the shits. I'm not with being negative. I'm not in that space in my life. So again, I would encourage you to slide on over to the next live or the next YouTube channel with the quickness, because there's people in this room that will immediately eliminate you. I'm just saying, because that's their job. Anyways, today's topic is lead with love, and I know when you hear about hi MLW Fisherman, I know when you hear lead with love, you think about your job, or you think about church or religion. I want to come sort of in that vein, but I want to talk more so about love and the pure essence of love, and how it is a new year. We have survived a global fucking pandemic for 3 years, in addition to all of the other things that happens in our life. And I just felt like um, love is one of the main things that is missing right now. Love in a sense of understanding other human beings, love in the sense of being mindful of other people's situations, love in the sense of just being respectful or being honest and respectful when it comes to your feelings as well as other people's feelings. So that's why I came up with lead with love. Like when you get ready to talk to somebody like you're at the drive-through and you're ordering. You had a long day, your kids in the back seat and they're making a lot of noise, and then you get to the counter or you get to the pull up to the drive-through window and it seems like the lady or the man or the person has an attitude. Lead with love. Understand you might have had a really difficult day. Your kids is getting a little loud. You're not in a good space. But that person on the other side, they probably had a really shitty day. People come to the drive-through just being real rude. I know sometimes we don't want to admit that we be rude, but we be rude when we be going through that drive-through. And yes, they could be. You ever had to tell somebody, why do you work in fast food if you got attitude? But that's neither here nor there. But they have feelings too. It's not, they don't own the McDonald's, they don't own the Burger King, they don't own the Wendy's. They just work there. They don't know why somebody didn't put cheese on your extra tartar sauce. They don't know. They relay a message, type it in a computer. Get your cash and then go up to the there. Just be mindful. I especially want to talk to parents. Now, let me give my disclaimer, another disclaimer. I do not have kids. However, I am a child. I do have a mother. I do have or my father is no longer with us, but I do have parents. So I can speak from the place of a child, and I can speak from someone, just offer a little suggestion to parents. Um, I want to talk to you about leading with love. Because ultimately, the first place that your child or your children understand what love is in your home. In your home. You are their first experience with love. So if you as a parent, if you was kicking it with a guy or you kicking it with a girl and y'all didn't really like each other, but y'all just got together and did the adult situation stuff, and then you had a child and it was like, oh, I can't stand you, I don't like you, and now y'all have this tension in the air, your children will feel that. You might not think they do because they're kids, and what do kids know? But little do you know that they are little human beings. Like they say, from 0 until like 5, they absorb everything. Everything. They're like sponges. They absorb everything. So when you are yelling at their father, you're yelling at their mother, how much you hate them, how much you despise them or whatever. And you ever hear somebody look at their child and be like, you look just like your father. And you probably don't mean anything bad by that. But it's the tone, it's the context, it's all of that when you're talking to your child. So now they're going to feel some kind of way. This is when you as a parent should lead with love, especially if you grew up in a household as a parent. If you grew up in a household that wasn't loving, that didn't have kindness, that didn't have compassion, where your mother or father didn't hug you or they didn't even talk to you. Your parents didn't even talk to you. You barely saw your parents because they was at work or church all the time. If you grew up in any of those environments, when I was growing up, I used to hear people was like, oh man, when I have kids, I'm going to get them everything. I'm not going to be like my mother and my father was. And I used to be like, man, I can't wait to see them when they get older and have kids. And then I look at them now when they're older and they have kids, and I just be like, wow. Because I'm not gonna do the same thing my parents did to me, only because we feel like we've been mistreated. Sometimes people do be mistreated, but because we feel like we didn't have the things that we were supposed to have. I've been on a journey now for 3 years of healing and self-discovery, right? I'm gonna tell you some of the things that I learned on this journey. I learned that despite what I thought, my mother always led with love. Despite what I thought. Everything I thought she should have did, I wanted her to do. When it all boils down to it, she always led with love. I used to hate having to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get on the bus to go to a predominantly white school, be around predominantly white people all day, because I wanted to go to school with the people in my neighborhood. I wanted to, the people I saw I wanted to be in that environment. But little did I know that my mother saw something in me. And she was like, I don't have the means right now, but I'm going to set you up where you could be good. And as an adult right now, I understand. That's what I'm saying. My mother led life when it came to me with love. Not only when it came to me, my mother leads her life with love. She will give everything she has, especially if it's a child. She will go to lengths I don't even think people would ever go, but she goes those lengths to make sure that the child is okay. So when I think about my life and how I lead with love, I'm not one for negativity. I realized in these last 3 years that when you have a conversation with someone, if I'm here talking to y'all, it's like I tell you the problem, right? I tell you what's going on, and we figure out a solution to that problem, and either I take the solution or I don't take the solution, right? But once we have a conversation, like here we're having a nurturing conversation about leading with love. Once we have this conversation, it's up to you to take the tips, tricks, resources, or whatever I give in this conversation to take them and apply them to your life. I can only give them to you. I can only say, parents, we living in a time where pedophiles, freaks, whatever weirdos, whatever you want to call them, stay on the internet. Stay. They they reside. They have immediate access to your child. So, as a person who doesn't have kids, but I'm offering a suggestion to you is to love on your child. Lead with love when you talk to your child. Not just like, oh, you gonna obey me because I'm your parents, but lead with love. Show them what it means to have someone hug them, not because someone passed away, not because you are trying to get them to understand that you are the leader of, but hug them in a compassionate way, because if you don't, the likelihood of them running into somebody who will is really high, especially if they are on the internet. Parents, lead with love, not lead with fear. You gonna do what I say because I'm the mother and I'm the father, and but lead with love. If you lead with love and compassion, you allow them to understand what it means to feel love, to feel respected, to feel honored, to feel compassion. You see where I'm going? So as they get older, as they experience things in life, they begin to understand, I don't have to tolerate disrespect. I don't have to tolerate you because you do materialistic things for me. I have to be in your space. I don't have to succumb to just being only worthy of, hi Jazz, only worthy of materialistic or flowery words. I know what it's like to feel love. My mother hugged me. My father, if you are a guy, my father hugged me. My parents told me all the time how much they love me, how beautiful I am, how handsome I am. I was telling someone, I said, I'm going to talk about lead with love. And I'm pretty sure people going to think about it like, oh, she mean like, if I'm in a position. I mean, we're all in positions of leadership, right? Especially if you're a parent. You are in the most important role of leadership. And I probably should have said parents lead with love, but I want to talk about everybody. Everybody that's grandparents, parents, aunties, uncles, cousins, sisters, brothers, preachers, ministers, evangelists, all of you, everybody should lead with love, right? When I began to think about lead with love, one of the things that struck me is because I'm a proud member of the Alphabet Mafia. If you don't know, that's the LGBTQ plus IA plus community, right? And it pains me deeply. It pains me deeply to hear stories of young people. It pains me to hear stories of adults and how they're treated, but it pains me deeply to hear stories of young people being disowned by their parents or their families because they identify as a member of the community. I didn't know how much it pained me until I started hearing more stories. And I'm not saying like, oh, it's just something I read. Like, no, these are young people actually coming to me, talking to me about how their parents are responding. And I'm just, number one, I can't imagine something growing on the inside of me, and I'm carrying it and I'm nurturing it. And I'm just feeling it grow. I'm feeling it move. Y'all see, I close my eyes. I'm trying to imagine. I'm just trying to put myself in that predicament. Like, I'm trying to understand how you could disown your child because they don't identify because of their sexual preference. I get it. I get I get that you I get that you want to do what's best for your child. I get that you want to protect your child, but that's not going to protect them. Disowning them doesn't protect them. That just opens them up to a world that isn't safe. Hell, it's not even safe for adults. So you're opening it up. You're opening up your child to a world that isn't. It's already not safe, and then you are allowing. Let me say this right. Here's my opinion. And it's open for discussion. I'm just gonna toss it out there. It's open for discussion. I personally feel like people's uh, hatred, or I don't want to say hatred because it's a strong word, but we're gonna put a pin right there for hatred, or people's views on homosexuality um, were really tainted by religion. The same people who tell you that God is love are the same people that tell you that God hates gay people. Now, that's not to say that God can't hate, because God himself said multiple times that he hates. But I think when people talk about homosexuality, they talk about it from a sense of it's a disease and like you're going to catch it and you're just gonna have a gay touch and then your whole life is just gonna be a mess. Again, I'm a card carrying member of the alphabet community and my life ain't a mess. But I get it. I grew up in church, so I get it. And I'm saying this because I grew up in church, and I can tell you I can't really count on how many times I heard that you're gonna die and go to hell and you're gonna burn and all of those things, right? So can you imagine being a child growing up in an environment where you're supposed to feel safe, where you're supposed to feel love, but instead you hear oftentimes about those gay people gonna go to hell. Those gay people are just out here they're trying to turn everybody gay by the TV shows. They're trying to, this this bothers me, or this troubles me, because we live in a generation where the internet gives us instant access to everything. Everything. When I say everything, you already know everything. There's kids on Facebook that's not even supposed to be on Facebook. I think it's got to be like 16 or there's kids on Facebook. There's kids on TikTok. There's kids in all of the spaces where adults reside. Normal adults and the weirdo adults. And I'm going to call them weirdo adults because I don't want to say the other words, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Those people that like to do those people, weirdos. We're going to label them as weirdos. If you aren't leading in love, how do you expect your child to be a productive member of society? How do you expect them to treat the people around them? How do you expect them to treat their siblings? How do we expect people to treat us if we don't lead with love? When I talk to people, sorry, y'all, my heat, it was getting a little hot. When I talk to people, I always like want to make sure that I come off where I communicate effectively what I want to get across. Like tonight, I want you to lead with love. I don't care if your child is bad. I don't care if the person disrespected you so many times. I still want you to lead with love, because at the end of the day, love will always outweigh everything. Always. Parents, you already know your child could be your child, your young adult, your adult could be bad as ever, but if they need you, you will be there. That's love. If at any moment your sister or brother needs a kidney or a liver, Y'all probably haven't talked in years, but you will be there. I think a lot of times we are um, told that we should lead in love. Like, oh, yeah, you should love. That's your mother. You should love her. That's your brother. You should love her. Like there's obligational love. Like we love people because of the position that they hold in our lives, or we love them because they do things for us. But I don't think we're taught to actually genuinely love. The number one thing I don't think that we are taught is to actually love ourselves. I don't think we're taught how to properly love ourselves. Properly loving yourself, excuse me, isn't just being able to get your feet done or your nails done or being able to go get a massage. Properly loving yourself is being able to answer the tough questions, deal with the shit that you've been hiding in the back of your mind or in your heart behind all those walls, being able to acknowledge your emotions, being able to express yourself fully. I think that those are um, traits of actually loving yourself. I think your ability to set boundaries is a form of loving yourself. Your ability to say, I'm not doing that, I'm not going there, I will not tolerate disrespect is a form of self love. But we don't teach that because when we're growing up, um, we are taught to obey. We're taught to obey. We're taught not to be disrespectful. So imagine this, right? You tell your child to be, if you respect adults, you do what adults say, all those things, right? This, I always found this weird, right? So an adult approaches your child and they tell them to do something that isn't, as an adult, you know that it isn't cool, but the child doesn't know. And then things happen. And then your child comes and say, hey, this happened to me by this adult. Why are adults more inclined to believe the adult rather than believe the child? Does anybody know why that happens? Especially if there's an environment, if they are in an environment such as a church or a temple or any place of worship, um, the adults are always more inclined to believe than adult. And is it because that we don't see children or we don't see teenagers or we don't see anyone that's not an adult as a human being? Is it because we don't? Then we will have to face the reality of the person we held on a pedestal isn't the person that we thought they were. How do we expect our children, or how do we expect people to grow up and show love and be loving members of society if we never teach them love? Oh, it's I love you because I bought you had food on your table, clothes on your back, and you had a roof over your head. So now, anytime somebody be like, "Oh, baby, I love you," you're not thinking they being respectful of you. You're not thinking how they like are mindful of your mental health. You're not thinking about that. You're thinking about, okay, can you pay these bills? Can you put food? Can you put gas in my car? Can you make sure that you thinking of that matter? You're not thinking about, okay, this person actually considers me. How many times have you been considered? How many times have someone asked you your opinion about something? Well, I'm asking you your opinion about it. And I would love if you would respond in the chat if you're here. Also, if you can hit the thumbs up button, I will greatly, greatly appreciate that. That helps me to stay suggested on um YouTube. Um Love is an action word. How can I tell that you love me if you just I love you but you're doing things that doesn't display love? I used to think when I was little and they used to be like, I'm whooping you because I love you, or I'm disciplining you because I love you. And I was like, that is the most backwardest thing. Like, you are whooping me. That shows me love. And so then when you think about it and you get older and people are like in situations, that's how they associate love. They associate love with dysfunction. They associate love with abuse. They associate love with sex. Because no one told them that it was something that wasn't love. That's what we just knew. We grew up in families where they rank or talk about each other, or they put each other down, they belittle each other, and that's what we think is love. So you ever go to school and there's a bully? Well, wait. When I was going to school, there was people that were bullies, and like you knew that the bully was lacking a lot of things, so that's why they were a bully. But nowadays, you got to be nice to the people at the Walmart, the McDonald's, the Burger King. You got to be nice to the visitors that come to your church. You got to be nice when you go to school. You got to be nice. You got to lead with love wherever you go. I get it. It's not our responsibility to be mindful of what other people are doing, but technically it is. Because if you are out in this world, right, and like I said, you got a bad day, you driving your kids in the car, they just being a little loud, they just being kids, but you done had a bad day. So that adds another layer. And then somebody cut you off, cut you off while you're driving. Now you yelling. Now your kids are a little like, oh, mom's yelling again. They don't know why you yelling. They don't know what's going on. They just know that they in the car talking to each other, having fun. And then you think about it, right? You ever be in a situation where you wish you could have took back what you said? Things were in the heat of the moment and you didn't really mean to say that, but that person pushed your buttons and you wish you could have took that back. When I think about my life, right, on this journey of healing and self-discovery, I thought about how I interact with people, what I say. Even when I thought about this Nurture Conversation podcast, I've been trying to figure out how I can be positive, how I can be a light, how I can share love, and how I don't want to have any negative. I don't want to have any negative connotations. I don't want to have any negativity anywhere. So when I'm speaking to you about leading with love, I'm not coming from a place of you should know better. Oh, no, I'm saying, have you considered the fact that if you don't hug a person or if you don't talk to them regularly, and this is even if you're in a relationship, a marriage, relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, right? Even if you don't talk to the person that you're with, you don't ask them how their day been, you don't consider their feelings or their emotions, right? All it takes is one person to come along and pay attention to them. It'll change the dynamic of your relationship. That's why you should lead with love. They say, do unto others as you will have them to do unto you. I think that's like the second commandment. For me, I completely understand that because I don't want you to lie to me, curse me out, try to kill me, or do any of those things. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you in love. If I see that you are having a bad day, I'm not going to come and be like, girl, what the fuck you are? No, I'm going to come to you in love and ask you, are you okay? I know some people feel some kind of way about being asked if they're okay because most times people will tell you, you don't really care if I'm okay. You're just asking me to be in my business. No, if I ask you, are you okay? As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to ask you, are you okay? I'm going to talk to you in a conversation for a minute and then I'm going to understand where you are and then I'm going to, segue to there. Is everything okay? Are you doing good? Could I help you with anything? Do you need help with anything? I will let you know that I'm here whenever you would like to talk. You know, when people remove themselves from this earth, everyone is always like, "Well, I didn't see any signs. I didn't know. I thought they were happy. They were smiling all the time." And at the same time, It's check on your strong friends, check on your weak friends, check on the people that's around you, check, right? But in reality, if we were already staying in touch with people, no, this is not to say that if someone wrongs you and you set a boundary, like, no, set that boundary. Set that boundary. This is to say, like, if you know that someone is struggling, and we all know what the struggle look like. You probably like, I don't. How am I supposed to know? You know what the struggle look like. If you are alive and you're listening to me right now, you're watching me right now, you know what the struggle look like. I've never been a parent. I've never had a child, and I keep saying that because I want y'all to know. But I was able to recognize postpartum depression, and I've never had it. But I was able to recognize it in someone, and I was able to ask them, a couple of questions. I'm not a mental health professional, but I was able to ask them questions that humanize the situation, to let them know, hey, I see you, and if you need some assistance, I'm here. I could, whatever I could do to help you through this, I'm here. I remember when I went to a really bad breakup, right? Um, my community led with love. They led with love. They surrounded me by love. They uplifted me with love. There was no disrespect. There was no negativity. There was nothing but love. There was positivity. There was support. There was reinforcement. There was loving reinforcement. And it was amazing for me because I'm always the person that people come to and be like, oh, and I'm like the handler. I gave myself that term. I'm like the handler. So, like, I lead with everything I do is love. Every time I speak from a loving place. I might have a little to my throat, but it's coming from love. So when I had no words, I couldn't even pull a sentence together. I couldn't even pull words together. And it was the love of the people that surrounded me that helped me formulate my words, helped me apply words to my emotions, that helped me pull myself together. Talking to people and understanding that I am not alone. Like, I know I'm not the only person ever in this world to have a bad breakup, but I needed to know, like, the process of it. Like, how long am I gonna be crying? How long am I gonna care? How long am I gonna think that it was my fault? How long does this last? And of course, outcomes may vary. We already know that, but I just wanted to know that someone else had been there. That's for me. For me, it helps me knowing that someone else has been there and that someone else has overcome that, because then I know, like, okay, I'm good. I'm going to cry. I'm going to eat ice cream. I'm going to watch romantic comedies. I'm going to do all of these things, but eventually it gets better. And I want to say it gets better when you do the work of it. Because if you're just sitting there like, oh, I'm just going to cry every day. No, you got to do the work. You got to do the work to find you. That was the most important part of me going on a journey of healing and self-discovery, because I know that I'm someone that everything I do, um, I put myself in other people's shoes so that I'll understand that sense of humanity, right? I don't, even when I'm talking to my nieces and nephews, I remember what it was like to be little, right? I know how difficult it was for potty training. I know how difficult it was to, like, you don't want to go to sleep. And I know all of those things, right? So for me, when I look at my nieces and nephews, and I want them to know that they have a safe space with me. Like, I am a safe space, not just my house, but I am a safe space. They can come and tell me anything. If they just want to come and sit on my lap, regardless of how big they are, this is regardless of how big they are, they can come and sit on my lap and talk to me. Or they can come and hug me and know that I'm going to hug them, and I'll be like, hey, get off of me. Why are you trying to do that? No, I'm going to hug them with open arms. No matter how many times they give me kisses. Or my niece texted me today. I didn't even know she knew how to text, but she texted me today. She said, "Thank you for being my TT and I love you." That little sentence lit my life, lit my day up. It made me feel like it made me feel loved. It made me feel important. It made me feel she didn't even say none of these words. She should have said, "Thank you for being my TT and you are a great TT. I love you." And that right there just made me feel significant. So it amazes me. It amazes me how um, people allow outside thoughts, beliefs, value systems to determine how they interact with their family members or how they interact with their children. I'm tying this all the way back into parents who disown their children because they are homosexual. Um, I don't understand that. And if you are in the chat and you have a child who is homosexual, or you are a parent and if you want to respond how you would respond if your child is a homosexual, I would definitely love to have the conversation with you. Again, I don't have kids, so I don't know, but I can only speak for me. I would not disown my child. I would want to understand them and want to understand how I would want to understand their feelings. Because again, I don't know if people notice this, but we don't acknowledge children's feelings. The feelings of teenagers or young people. I'm gonna say we don't acknowledge young people feelings. We oftentimes don't even consider their feelings. You ever saw a child and you were like, you said hi to a person and they was kind of standoffish, and then you was like, "Hey, come over here and say hi," or give them a hug, or and you ever pay attention to the look on that child's face, and some of those children be mortified, and you never understood why those children be mortified? It's because kids know. I don't know if y'all be knowing it, but kids be knowing. I want to say they know good spirits and bad spirits. That's again just my opinion. I really feel like kids be knowing. Kids be knowing good people and bad people. Let's say it like that. Kids be knowing. And I think adults be just so used to doing adult shit that they don't even be paying attention because that's a little child what they know. But they be knowing a whole lot. That's why I would never tell my nieces and nephews you have to hug or you have to speak to people. You don't. I know it's like, oh, they should be. They don't. Think about how many times you had to speak to people. People that did you wrong or did shitty things to you. Your parents made you talk to people you didn't even like. They didn't even like. They didn't even like, but they made you talk to them. They made you hug them. You ever went to a sleepover that you didn't want to go over and you went anyways because your parents needed a break? It's things like that. I always said, when I look at my nieces and nephews, I'm like, you guys are going to get older. They're not my kids, but this is what I say, right? I'm like, you guys are going to get older and then you're going to have your own lives and you're not going to want to hang out with me anymore. Like, you're not going to want to, like, go to TT house because it's like, oh, I got my friends. I'm going to be out here kicking it. And I was like, the funny thing is, all of my nieces and nephews be want to come over all the time. We don't really do anything. I mean, we do a lot of stuff like make music and puzzles and all that stuff, but I'm not taking them on Disney cruises or I'm not doing like anything like big like that. I'm just spending time with them, listening to them. What do you want to do today? I remember when Kira said she wanted to be a cosmetologist. She said she wanted to be a cosmetologist. And so I went to Dollar Tree and I got like makeup stuff. I got peel off masks. I got all this stuff. So the next time she came over, I was like, "Welcome to," and she's like, "It's Kira's spa." I was like, "Wait, girl, you got a whole business. So how much you gonna charge me?" We had a whole little spa thing, and her face, the look on her face was just like, it was priceless. Like, you gonna let me do makeup? Yeah, she know how to wear makeup, but she was. able to do my makeup, put the pillow on, mask, everything. They love that. I think I should go to Dollar Tree and get some more of that. But leading with love, understanding what they like. What do you like to do? Let me invest in you. Let me share your love with you. I realized that Kira likes puzzles. I went and bought some puzzles. We're gonna do some puzzles when she come over. I wanna do what interests them. You know? I wanna love what you love. I don't want you to I don't wanna force you to love what I like. No, I want you to be free. I want you to have that authority for yourself. So any event somebody come and try to change some shit about you, you will have the full understanding like I don't have to like that. I don't have to like it because you tell me to like it. And that's not disrespectful to any parents. I'm just saying, like, you should offer your child that opportunity. You should offer them the opportunity to have a say in their lives. Imagine growing up in an environment where you didn't have a say. You weren't able to say what you wanted to eat or where you want to go. And that's no disrespect to parents, because sometimes parents hear things like that and they're like, oh, you trying to tell my... No, it's acknowledge the fact that they are human beings too. They hurt, they cry, they experience things. Like somebody said one day, you're a child. What could you be what could you possibly be stressing about? A lot? Have y'all you if y'all have kids, do you understand the time we are living in? There's a lot to be stressing about. It's bad enough when kids leave their house, you got to make sure you love them, tell them how much you love them, hug them, kiss them, all of that, because you don't even know if they're going to come back. And that's the reality in 2023. You don't even know. If you're a teacher, if you work at a Walmart, you have to make sure that all of your affairs are in order, because you don't even know. You don't even know one day your coworker is y'all laughing and kicking, and the next day your coworker, somebody said something and pissed them off, and now they done came back, and it has happened. It has happened in church services. It has happened in Walmart. It has happened at restaurants. Just recently, I want to say my condolences to the families who lost loved ones at a dance studio. A dance studio. It's like we are in a time now where we have no consideration for other people. There is no love. There's like, oh, I only love the people that I mess with, and that's it. And then you don't really love them because you barely talk to them until, somebody passed away or something. And it's like, oh, yeah, but we barely talk to each other. We'll rather post statuses and rather than pick up the phone or go by our friend's house. You call your friend and like if you call that person your friend, if you call anybody you say that you love, the moment that something isn't right with them. I know people be like, no, they just seem so regular. You know when something is off with somebody. Sometimes we just that's not my responsibility. That's not my... I'm trying to mind my own business. At the end of the day, I be up in everybody's business. You know why? Because I've suffered too much loss in my life. And I'm sure as long as I be alive, I'm going to lose more. But I want to make sure that I do what I can to make sure that people around me feel loved, they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel important. And the crazy thing, it doesn't even take a lot. I don't got to buy people cars or houses or jewelry or nothing. I just got to acknowledge their emotions, respect their opinions. If I say, hey, you want to do this? And they be like, no, come on, man. You sure you don't want to? No. If they say no, no is no. We was in high school, they was like, oh, no means no. That's not even just for sexual encounters. That's for anything. Anything in life. You should be able to... No means no. You going to the family? No. Oh, come on, those your people. No. We should be talking to more people about what it means to set a boundary. You don't have to always go to the family functions, especially if you're there and you always have that, man, I should have stayed at home moment, or here they go, they about to get riled up. If you always having those moments, do yourself a favor. Love yourself enough to say, I'm not going. Of course, you're gonna get them phone calls. Oh, you think you better than us? You ain't trying to come to the family? What you got going on? Or all of those different things. And I'm just, because I've heard them. All of those different things. Choose yourself. No, I'm not coming. I'm choosing myself right now. I'm setting the boundaries. I don't feel respected, and I'm gonna set a boundary, and I'm not going. You don't even have to explain all of that. Just no, I'm not going. But do the work on yourself. Why do you treat people that stand on the corner and have those signs or ask for change? Why do you look at them like they're less than you? Why is it sometimes the first thing people say is get a job? Not even knowing how the person ended up out there. How is it that we look at people and because they don't have the circumstances that we have, we feel that we are better? I've never felt that I was better than anyone. Everyone, when I look at those people that standing outside on the corner or on the street in the middle of the island when they hold their signs up, I look at them and I just be like, man, I was them. I was homeless. I wasn't broadcasting all over everything. Like, hey, look at me, I'm homeless. It was more so of a shock because I pay my rent, I pay my bills, I do everything. So how the hell am I homeless? And then pride stepped in, and I was just like, I shouldn't be homeless. I shouldn't be homeless. Like I did everything I was supposed to do. You ever had I did everything I was supposed to do. How am I here? And then when I started to get to the bottom of it, it was like, I got to do better for myself. I have to do better for myself. I have to start loving myself, putting myself first. You ever be in a situation where you realize you put everybody else's thoughts, hopes, dreams, aspirations before yourself? I know I'm talking about lead with love, and you probably thinking I'm talking about when you have kids or in a relationship, but I'm talking about with yourself. Lead with love. If you're tired, acknowledge the tired. Oh my God, hi. If you're tired, acknowledge that. Oh, but they need me to come here. No, acknowledge that. In 2023, I want you to acknowledge self. If you're tired, don't go. Rest. Even if you don't sleep, just be still. Light a candle, put some good music on, watch a show, kick your feet up, and just be still. If you have kids, love on your children, teenagers, young adults, love on them. Hug them, kiss them. They probably at first just be like, man, what's going on? But in reality, they couldn't wait for that to happen. Hug them. Ask them how their day were. That's what I loved about, that's when I realized, as I was on this journey of healing and self-discovery, that I grew up in a family that was different from most people. I thought everybody family communicated or talked or asked each other what was going on or how was your day. I thought that's what everybody did. I thought that was normal until I started dating or went to college and just start talking to other people. And then I realized how blessed I was to grow up in a family that would ask you what's wrong or how was your day, or not just how was your day, but like, oh girl, okay. No, they really wanted to know, how could we make it better? What could we do? What could you have done? What could you have not said? Because sometimes we do, be saying things to get ourselves in trouble. But like, how could you have been better? And since I've been on this journey of healing and self-discovery, I definitely understand how things can change in an instant. change in an instant. That's why I'm extremely mindful. Even when I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk about lead with love, and I'm definitely gonna tap on the fact that parents are disowning their kids because they turn out gay. It's like, aren't you supposed to love them through that? How do I love my child even though they're gay? Love them, understand who they are and where they are. You got a whole religion. There's religions that's like, you're going to go to hell, you're going to die, you're going to burn. And then there's people out here carrying signs telling people the first place, the main place they should feel safe is in their home. You don't like gay people. I'm going to ask you this question, right? Of course, you don't have to answer, but I'm going to ask you this question, right? What was your first experience when it came to homosexuality? Where was the first time you heard the word homosexuality or gay or lesbian? Where were you at? Think about that, right? Was it like, oh no, these it's so disgusting, or was it like they was laying your hair, or they was taking care of you, or they were making sure? And that's not to say there aren't some mean gay people, because there are, but the likelihood of you thinking about somebody in the LGBT community in an ill way is like, unless you know that person personally, it's like slim to none. Again, there are some people out there, but when you think about it, we grow up in church and they tell you you're gonna die to burn and go to hell, and it's like you can't be gay. And then I think that people don't necessarily think of like, oh, God hates gays. I think they think, how are people gonna look at me because I have a gay child? Especially if it's a man, it's like, oh, my son gay, he's my namesake. That's gonna carry on my name. He can't be gay. He gotta play basketball, gotta play football, put him in all these aggressive sports to make them more manly. Like there was a one young man who family members like tortured him. I'm gonna say tortured because they did. They cut gay in his head and they beat him up and trying to beat the gay or pray the gay. All of that does not exist. I'm gonna tell you. It might seem like it might appear like, oh yeah, they got delivered, but I'm gonna tell you the honest to God truth, my opinion, my honest to God truth. This is my opinion, which is the honest to God truth for me. You can't pray the gay away, and you can't beat the gay away. Those two things I know that you can't do. Can't do it. What you can do is love the person. Love them for who they are, not who you want them to be, but love them for who they are. Love them. So many times we spend so much time trying to pray things on people or try to put things on people. If we just love people where they are, people will do what's best for them. They will change, they will grow, they will understand. Like I was wondering one day, like I was like, how I don't get how a person, that's what I'm saying. Like there's nothing. But then if you're constantly hearing, like I know I probably get some people to be like, you can't equate the two. I'm gonna say it like this, right? When you think about gay people, right? They put so many negative connotations to it, so it's automatically in your mind. You just think negative shit anytime you think about gay people. It's like, God, don't touch me. You ever been by a gay person? Don't touch me. They had that. It's it's real life people out here who think it's a gay touch. Real life. I'm not even joking. Think it's a gay touch. In my mind, it's like you don't even understand what's going on here. You don't get it. They are basically putting you against your fellow brother, your fellow sister, another human being because they can't understand the concept. Anything that we don't understand, we always push it away or it becomes foreign to us. And then it's like, no, 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 don't bring that over here. When in reality, we should be open to understanding how or why do you feel that way? What led you to because I personally feel, this is me talking my personal opinion again, if more people were honest with themselves, if more people were honest, I'm not saying everybody is gay, but I'm saying more people were honest with themselves, a lot of marriages would have survived, a lot of relationships would have survived because people aren't looking for people of the opposite. They're not looking for a man's not necessarily looking for a woman to feel whole. That's what we've been told all of our lives. You grow up, you get married, you have a baby, you get the house, the car, y'all travel, y'all kids grow up, y'all retire. That's what we were taught. Girls like boys, boys like girls is what we were taught. Think about it, right? So like now where it's like, oh, they trying to do this gay agenda stuff. It's like, how did it become a gay agenda? Like there's no heterosexual agenda. We don't talk about people being forced to watch male and female. We don't talk about that. We don't say, oh no, don't try to push that. We don't talk about that. But then when it start more LGBT friendly things start coming, it's like they trying to make everybody gay. We're not trying to make anybody gay. We're just trying to be represented like everybody else is represented. We just out here leading with love and rainbows. We loving you even despite you telling us we gonna go to hell. We come to church still serving Jesus even though you tell us that he gonna send us to hell. We giving everything we got. We believing we doing all of that even though you tell us we have no chance of making it. You know those are some determined people. You have no way of making it into heaven because you're gay. How do you tell people that? How do you tell people like God is love, but he hates your gays over there? How do you do that? And then for me, this is why I have such a thing with it, right? I told you I grew up in church. I was so inquisitive. When I go on a thirst for knowledge, like I go to the depths of it, right? I have officially read the Holy Bible, the King James Version. I used to get the little dictionary things and I would study, right? There's only one instance that the church references when it comes to homosexuality, right? And in that one instance, it has no reference at all to homosexuality. But I could see how if I talked about something really passionately and I threw Jesus in there a couple of times, I can see how people will be like, oh yeah, God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah because they were gay. That's not why he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. But the church will never tell you that because that goes against everything they've been talking about for years, for decades, centuries. That one story in the Bible. Hey, Jamela, that one story in the Bible is what, and oh, I forgot. And then, it is an abomination for man to lie with man, So there's like the one story in a couple of scriptures, but in reality, it's like, okay, follow me down this road, right? If when you ever look at the Bible, it say everything that Jesus said was in red, right? How come when we talk about those things, it's not in red, it's in black? This is just where I be at sometimes. How can you tell me that I'm supposed to disown someone that is homosexual because they could turn me homosexual when in actuality, God created us all, so God already knew that we were going to be the way that we are. Think about how many people grow up like from childhood that feels gay, that just know everything about them just is not normal, but they adopt a normal life and they go through their entire life hiding who they are because they are afraid of how it will make their family look. They are afraid of how it will look on them. Imagine if they grow up and get married and they have kids and then they decide they no longer want to be the sex that they are and they have a sex change and they become a woman or they become a man or they just identify as being homosexuality, and now it's considered a phase when in reality they felt that way their entire lives. Imagine the people who are living their lives, they live in their truths, right? And they meet someone who was really in love with them, really wants to be with them, but they are in the closet because they are ashamed of how people will perceive them. So they be with you for a minute and then they go back home to their wives or their girlfriends. And then if someone say, "Oh, I saw you with insert person here," and now I have to my life is in jeopardy because you are afraid of how people will look at you. And I'm saying all these things because if you are a parent, you might not know um how hard it is to navigate life as an LGBT person. And I know you're probably like, no, see, that's the thing I'm trying to save them from. You can't really save anybody. You could teach them how to be respectful. You could teach them how to understand or how to tolerate or how to get another person's understand where they coming from. Like you could teach them that. You could teach that. But you can't teach people how to make other people act. You can't teach that. Like I can't teach people to respect me as an LGBT person. I can't tell you. I could be like, I would like for you to, but I can't make you respect me as a member of the LGBT. I can't make you do anything. I can tell you who I am and what I want and what I require, but I can't make you do anything. Yeah, I can put you in football and basketball and hope that that make you being around more testosterone will make you, but in reality, all you're doing is you're suppressing yourself. You're suppressing yourself so the people around you can feel comfortable. You're suppressing yourself so that you don't look like, oh, I gotta get married because I don't want people to be thinking that I'm gay. And then you get married, you're not even in love with the person you just married them because you don't want to be gay. Or you're afraid to live your truth because you're afraid of how. I remember when the brat said, anybody who knows the brat, like I don't know her personally, but I looked at her and I knew she was gay. But I understand why she didn't come out because she said she didn't want to come out because she didn't want people to look at her grandma in the wrong way. What? I get it. Again, that's it's selflessness. I get it. But at the same time, you deny who you were for decades just because you didn't want people to talk about your grandma. But guess what? People was talking about her grandma the whole time. People talking about you the whole time. You hiding in the closet or not hiding, you feel safe in the closet because you feel like people don't know. But the reality of it is we know. You know, I know, everybody know. I used to tell people like I definitely have a gaydar, like a strong one, like a seriously strong gaydar. I can tell anybody that I've ever said is gay has been if you they have been identified as gay. Even people that are married with kids and they go their separate ways and then it'll be like oh my God, they what? Yeah, I'm not out here like, oh, look at these. No, I just want them to know that I acknowledge you. I understand where you are. I get it. Not everybody can be like me and be like, I'm a proud card carrying member of the Alphabet Mafia because I don't care what people say or think about me because I'm still going to go to sleep. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do everything I need to do regularly. You're not going to affect me. Nothing you say or do is going to make me be like, oh man, they don't like me because I'm gay. They stop watching the channel because I'm gay. Oh my God, I'm gay. No, it's not going to be any of that because um, two things, right? I love myself more than I love anything else in this world. That's one. And number two, I will hope that one day, not hope, I pray that one day you will find it in your heart to let go of all that negativity, to let go of all the things you've been told and actually speak to a gay person. It's people out here who won't even speak to gay people because they real life think they're going to become gay. I remember when I was growing up and I went to a predominantly white school. So, of course, I would be exposed to different things that now that I think about it, right? I was exposed to different things that um I was reading in history books about, the people with the hoods and, the two eyes, the ghostly looking people. And then when I got to college, which was a predominantly white college, um, and I saw them people walking around on our campus, and they would leave like the nooses and all those different things. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, I was just literally reading about you in history books last year when I was in college. I mean, I was in high school and now I'm in college and I'm seeing you. Like, I thought this was like the 60s, like 60s, 50s, like 40s. Like, this is 1999 and I literally just graduated in 98 and I'm actually seeing you face to face. So for me, it was a whole bunch of like weird stuff. Cause you like, when you hear stuff, you hear it, you be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. But when you see it with your own eyes, when you hear it, be like, oh, those gay people, they just trying to turn everybody gay. They want everybody. But then when you actually talk to a gay person and they not trying to convert you to being gay, you're like, oh, no, you pretty cool. Let's go hang out. And then you go hang out with them. You turn up. Listen, I'm going to tell you. You turn up with them or you have a good time. You go to dinner. You realize they not even bad. Or you a parent and you talk to your child and you understand, how they came into that. Because most times people be trying to say, oh, when the members of the community say they were born this way, it's like, oh no, you can't be born that way because God don't make no mistakes and God didn't do all of this. But it's like God made everybody, so evidently God knew what he was doing when he made me rainbow. That's why I lead. I feel like I lead with love because it's like so many different things that would be like a hinder. I'm black. I grew up in church. I'm gay. I'm educated. I don't take shit from nobody. I mean, there's so many different things where people could be like, ah, but the reality of it is I am love. I lead with love. I don't get on YouTube and be popping off telling people to, no, I lead with love. How can I help you? You want to start a business? You want to start a podcast? You want to start a YouTube? You want to start dating? You want to find your how to go on the healing, a journey of healing and self discovery? What is it that you want to do? How can I help you? Because I come from a family, a community that made sure that I was good. They gave me the resources. They allowed me the safe spaces to come and talk. A lot of things in my life were mainly me. This is why I say we're not teaching our kids how to love themselves, or we're not teaching people how to love themselves. Because look at life, right? I remember when I was growing up, I seen one time, out of all the times when I was growing up, I seen a girl turn down this guy. We were riding on the city bus, and a guy asked her for her number, and she was like, no, I got a man. And so she was actually talking to her man on the phone, and then the dude smacked her. And it's like, I don't care nothing about you having a man. I asked you for your number. And I just looked, was like, wait, now we can't even turn people down. That's when we was giving people, you had a fake number. You had a number on deck. It was fake, but you had a number on deck. Cause you ain't never know, you ain't know how people was gonna be turned down. That was just this, now people getting rejected, and this is why we got to teach love. This is why we got to lead with love. We got to talk more. Men need to talk to other men about love. Like, men need to talk to other men about healing, about forgiving, about accepting what is. Hugging each other. Not, oh, no homo. You don't got to say all of that. Just hug them. Hug your son. Hug your daughter. Let them know what it's like to be love. Tell your daughter she's beautiful. Take her out on dates. Do all of those things. Buy her flowers so she'll know, like, okay, this is part of it. It's part of respecting you as a human being. It's treating you nice. It's being respectful to you. It's acknowledging who you are. Not yelling, not being demanding, not even acknowledging their existence. Share love. Hug them. I don't know if y'all been seeing it, but a lot of melanated kids have been human beings, period, have been um, trafficked. They have been coming up missing. Melanin is really high on the markets. I don't know if y'all be paying attention to the other stuff outside of like YouTube, but parents, it's important for you to love your kids. Love them. Not just, oh, those my kids, I love them. No, like hug them. Ask them how school is going. Ask them how their life is going. But not even your kids. Ask your adult children. Adults should ask other adults. We should all be caring about each other, especially after surviving a global fucking pandemic, which still to this very day exists. There was vaccines we were supposed to have, and then people were still dying with the vaccines. It's 3 years later, and it's still, they were saying that the numbers are going back up. I be so mindful because I be thinking, right, I be telling people at the end of this live, I'm gonna say it too, but at the end of the videos that I post, I'd be like, make sure you get your toiletries, non-perishable food items, water, disinfectant, set some cash money, all of that stuff, right? And somebody asked me one day, why do you say that? The pandemic, we ain't there where we were in the pandemic. And I was like, listen, at any time, do y'all see how much eggs are? Eggs. I remember you could get a carton of eggs for like $1.99, $1.29. Do y'all see how much eggs are right now? What I real life want to do is I want to go spend, I, I said 3 days, I want to spend a week on a farm just so I can get, like, I really want to have my own farm, but I want to go and spend a week on a farm and just like see what it takes. See what it takes to keep get produce, like milk a cow. I want to see I want to experience all of that because I don't think we really get the significance of what time we are living in right now. I don't think we get it. People are like, oh yeah, it's no big deal because we still out here. Not me. I be in here. I went out yesterday. Yesterday there was a networking event and I signed up for it and I was like, I should go. I don't think I am. I literally laid in my bed until 1:24. The event started at 2 o'clock, and I battled with myself. And then I said, you know what? You said 2023, you were going to step out and you were going to go into more networking events, and you were going to be really sociable. And I was like, why did I say that to myself? Let me get up. So I got up. I went. I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I don't even know why I'm here. And then the different people that were at the networking event started talking, and I was just like, oh my God, I know why I'm here. My prices are too low. I need to figure this out. I need to do this. I need to make packages. I need to do. So I had a whole list. Like they had, I don't know if y'all can see this. Here's the paper. But they had posted things on the wall, and she's like, "Oh, just write your ideas up there." And I was just sitting there like, I don't even know why I'm here. So, but as the people was talking, I started writing on my thing. I was like, "Oh my God, these things are doable. I can do all of these things." I changed my prices, and I actually walked away from the networking event with 2 new clients, a bunch of resources, and new accountability partners. And I was just like, what if I would have just laid in my bed? What was I going to do? Just lay in the bed until what? What was I going to do? But instead, I got up and I got out and I networked and I felt great. I felt good about myself. I felt like, yeah, I said I was going to be out here and look at me. And then I was even while I was there, I was like, I'm gonna share the knowledge. It's like, oh, I could charge you. No, I'm gonna share the knowledge. We all in the same space, and everybody was sharing and everything. It was so dope. I didn't even think to pick up my camera to say, hey, y'all, I'm going here. It was so dope. I do have footage from a podcast that I interviewed on earlier, um, a couple of weeks ago. But I didn't even think to pull my camera out. I didn't even while we was on while I was on the podcast, I didn't even think to put my camera out because it was living in that moment. I think so many times, like I be preparing, like I went and did the whole review for Tabitha Brown. I got a whole video footage. I'm gonna post those up this week, but I didn't even the experience, it was the experience of it for me. I'm living more in the moments of the experiences. I feel like I understand what it means to be light, love, and positivity. Before it was just like, I'm gonna be light, love, and positivity. Like I feel like I manifested that now. So any event, so I said earlier, like life can change in any second. It's like all it takes is a split second for you to respond to somebody, and that can change the course of your life. Every decision you make can change the course of your life. We don't think about it like that because we just be like, you know what, I'm about to go buy this car. And you don't think like, okay, is it buying a car going to take away from your ability to take care of your other bills? Or, you know, I'm about to go on this cruise. I said this year, I'm definitely going international multiple times and not just like Canada or Mexico. Like I'm going international. I have my sight sets on St. Lucia, London, and Italy. That's where my sights are set, right? And I began to think about like how do I plan to get there? What steps am I going to take to get there? What do I need to have in order for me to get there? And I'm just doing all this and then it was like, you know, you get that little like, do I really want to know this is what I really want to do? I've been saying this for forever. These are three of the places I really want to go. I get it, we are in a global fucking pandemic, but I'm going there. Those three places. I will get there. And how I'm going to get there? By leading with love. Y'all see how I did that? I'm leading with love. When I talk to my nieces and nephews, I lead with love. When I talk to my brothers, I lead with love. When I talk to anybody, when I come here to talk to you, I lead with love. I say a little prayer. I smudge my space before I come on, and I lead with love. I say, I hope that somebody is able to take away, not, "Oh, give me 50 people, give me 1,000. No, just if it's just one person, I hope that I say something that encourage you to be better, that encourage you to step outside of insanity and think for yourself. Be loving. Love the people around you. Don't just love them for what they could do for you, but actually love them. Love your parents. Understand that the time they grew up in, understand them, understand where they come from. Maybe your parents didn't grow up with a lot of money, so of course they showered y'all with everything, and now you a little spoiled brat because you done had everything. You never had to work for anything. People want you to work now. It's like, ooh, I can't do that because I had to work for everything. Well, except when I was little, my mother definitely, but I even realized that about myself. Like anything that somebody gives me, like I value it. Let me say I value it, but it doesn't have the same value as if I work hard for it. If I work for it, oh, I'm gonna value everything about it. Like the truck I got is 21 years old. I've only had it for 5 years, but it's 21 years old, and I value it enough where I get oil change. I'm waiting right now to get brakes. Of course, it's snowing here, and that's like, whew. When it snows, mechanics. Hey, when it snows, I get it. You don't want to be outside in the cold weather, but if I had the necessary tools to change my own brakes, I would be out there changing my own brakes. I got a garage. I would pull right up in the garage, put it up on the jack, and change my own brakes. I know you're probably like, why your brothers don't do it? My brothers are not. They don't do that. They pay people to do that. And that's not no shot to them. That's just saying that's what they do. I be wishing. I be wishing. My brother said, if you get the brakes, I put them on. I was like, oh, I need to hurry up and get these brakes. And it needs to not be snowing. He got a whole list of it can't be snowing. It can't be raining. Whole list of things. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to do that. When I think about my life, right, I literally lead with love. I lead with love. Love is like at the forefront. I'm always thinking about, okay, if I was in this situation, how would I feel? Or how would I want people to talk to me? When I go to sit down and talk to an artist, and I'm not like, oh, let me get this money from you, because no, I sit down and it's like, how can I show you how to, like, I can give you a fish. Listen, now I can give you a fish, but if I feel like if I show you how to fish and how to put the worm or put the lure or whatever on the thing and show you how to cast your rod, you can eat for forever. If I show you how I can lead you to the water, but of course I can't make you drink. I always want to say, you can lead towards the water, but you can't make them drink. I can show you how the thing you do today can give you monetary gain for the rest of your life. I can show you how to do that. I can show you how to set it up and maintain that. But most people don't want that. They just want you to do it for them. Hey, do it for me. I'm be good. I come from an era where they showed you how to put the, so I know what it's called, a lure. I come from that era where they showed you how to do it. They walked you through the steps on how to do it. And then if you were like, okay, I can't do this, they showed you how to, do automate it or get somebody else to do it. Sorry, I just thought about, get somebody else to do it. You take this picture from, get somebody else to do it. We don't want anybody else to get somebody else to do it. We want you as parents to love your child. Hug them. If you are an auntie, an uncle, be a safe space for a child, a kid, a teenager. Be a safe space. That's why I said I want to be a safe space. Not just for my family, not just for my friends or my nieces and nephews, but whoever I'm in a relationship with, I want to be a safe space for you. I want you to be able to come and talk to me about any and everything, and don't have the reservations of, oh, I'm going to tell you and you're going to look at me like this, because that's what I feel like happens to a lot of people, because our environments are so judgmental. We grow up in judgmental environments, so people don't share how they're feeling or what they're thinking or even express their opinions, because they are afraid of how people will look at them. They're afraid of what people would think. Oh, you're going to think I'm slow if I say, or you're going to think something wrong with me. No, I'm not going to think anything. What's going on? What is on your mind? Talk to me about it. How can we figure it out? But I guarantee you talking to people and they're like, nah, because you're going to look at me different. Or nah, people say that all the time. But for me, I done told y'all my entire life from 0 until 42 in some couple of weeks. 2023, a couple of weeks into 2023. Do I care if you take what I told you and like try to, oh, she said or she did? No, because I lived through that already. I overcame that. I let that go. I healed. I acknowledged. I accept. I forgave. All of that. All of those experiences. That's what we have to do in our lives. It's like, I was telling someone, I was like, when you become an adult, like not just in age, but when you become an adult, you stop pointing fingers at everybody else and you start to look inside yourself. You start to take accountability for your actions. You start to take accountability for the shit that you said, and you start to fix it. You should start to fix it. Let me say, you should start to fix it. You should want to be better. Like, I be telling people, like, listen, 3 years ago, 2020, right? We couldn't go outside. We couldn't do anything. We were trying to get tissue and water, and people were charging ridiculous prices for it. And then think about it now. Again, think about how much a carton of eggs costs. I used to go to the store and buy $30 worth of fruit, and I could get some fruit. When I tell y'all fruit, I was fruiting. That's how I was doing all them juices. Now I go to the store, it's like I can barely. Fruit ain't fruiting like it was 2 years ago. Nothing is fruiting like it's fruiting. Water, tissue, everything is way higher. Have y'all seen the people in like Virginia and like I think it's Texas or somewhere that they rent is going up by $300? The one lady said it jumped from 825 or something like that up to 2,500. I said, what? And then I'm watching all of these, like I'm literally watching people are really having hard times out here. Like real life having hard times. And instead of us being like mindful or considerate, like, you know what, go get a job, or you should have been able to handle your. Now, some people don't know how to handle money. I get it. But a lot of times, a lot of these people are out here due to circumstances beyond their control. Because I was definitely homeless due to circumstances beyond my control. I paid my portion of the rent. I did everything that I was supposed to do. And this is why I say sometimes you have to be mindful of the other people that's in a situation also, because what if somebody can't do something? What if they can't provide? Or we'll take my car and then they can't. And then people feel bad because they can't, and then they just stop ghosting you. Or instead of people applying words to their emotions, they just shut down. You ever be talking to somebody, you ask them a question, and then it's like they just go blank. They looking at you, they hearing you, or they change the subject, and you're like, wait a minute. I know I ain't crazy. I know I just asked you a question. You just act like I didn't just ask you a question. We gonna skirt past it, and then you try to bring it back around. It's like I'm instead of them saying I'm uncomfortable talking about that, but they don't know how to say that. They don't know how to express when they're uncomfortable. Most times people just get angry or they fight or they yell. That's how they respond to uncomfortableness. And this is why I'm addressing parents. Like, if you are able to share the love and allow your child to speak and allow your child to express how they are feeling, you are doing them a great service so that as they get older, as they become adults, they're able to talk and express, hey, I don't like the way you use that tone with me. I don't like the way you said what you said. They're able to respond in those manners. They're able to get out of situations that isn't healthy for them or their child. They are able to let go of people that doesn't serve them any good. They're able to do that because they have the foundation of love. This isn't love. Abuse isn't love. Disrespect isn't love. Manipulation isn't love. None of that is love. But that happens on a daily basis in all of our lives. We be interacting with people on so many different levels, and we don't know what they're going through, but because we be so wrapped up in ourselves, and I get it. I get it. But sometimes if we just take that moment and say hi, or take that moment and say, how are you doing? You ever have somebody say hello, and then you say hello and they just look at you like, you got people who's like, what's wrong with you? Why are you saying hello to me? I just wanted to say hi and show you, flash you a smile. We smiling all the time. People's like, you know what? Thank you. That made my day. It be the small things. You be thinking we got to do above and beyond, but in real life, be the small things. Your child ever tell you they had like a basketball game or anything like that, and so it's that time, and then you go and you show up, and they see you in the stands or they see you at the event. You ever just see the smile on their face? You ever buy them something that they want and they just be like, and you see the smile on their face? Or you ever just hug them? You ever just watch a movie with them? Do you watch movies with your? You ever just watch a movie with them and they just cuddle up with you and they don't care. They just want to be by you. My 2-year-old niece, she don't care where I'm at, who I'm with. She gonna find her way to me. She don't care. She don't care. And I love that about her, that she don't care. I've locked this door in my studio plenty of times. How she has gotten it open, I could not tell you. But she gonna come in here. And there's no music today because she's not here. But she will come in here. I have her a whole little spot over here. It's got the iPad, blanket, everything all set up. And she will sit right there all day until I get ready to walk out this room. And then she gonna go. Now, she would prefer to sit on my lap, but I'm here talking to y'all, so I wouldn't be able to do that. But she'd be cool with just being right here in a facilitated area. That's what I like. She want to be around. Cam want to be, they all want to be around. Because one day they're going to get older. They're going to be hanging out with other people. I know. So that's why we saying, like, parents, kids are so precious. You have so much time with them to share things with them, share knowledge, hug them, write them little love letters, tell them how important they are, tell them how beautiful they are, because you don't want the wrong person to get in their ear and tell them that. No, you and a father, you and a mother didn't have a good relationship, but that should never dictate how you interact with your child. Of course, kids are going to pick up on things are different because they have brains and they are knowledgeable. But what you should do, this is just my suggestion. What you should do is love on your child. Hug them, kiss them, tell them that they are important. Ask them how their day is going. And it's not even just for child. Like you got a brother or sister and you know that they are struggling. We be knowing. We be knowing so much to the point where we be like, I'm gonna pray that God gonna help you. When God is like, you are the representation of me. Go help them. Now, granted, some people don't need like regular people help. They need like therapy and other people help, but you can help them get there. I be telling everybody around me like therapy. If you want to go, we can go to a group session therapy. I'm down. I'm with it. Cause in 2023, I don't want the people in my life to still be fighting the things that they was experiencing like 20 or 1990, 95, 2000. Like I don't want them to still be dealing with those same experiences because right now it's too much money out here. It's too big of a world. We got too many things we trying to do in 2023, and I don't need those things to be holding people back. I don't need those things to be holding you back. It's like everyone's like, oh, I need to. I think like 2023 should be the focus of me. The focus is on me. Oh, wait. In 2023, the focus is on me. Y'all can take that. Y'all can borrow that. That's what it should be. If you haven't evaluated your life since 2020, now should be a perfect time to do it. And I'm saying that because if you want to start a business, if you want to start a business, if you want to anything you want to do, it is open right now. It's been wide open since 2020, but it is even opener now. So I want to encourage you, if you want to start the YouTube, start that YouTube. I gotta wait till I get to know. Pull out your phone, talk to it, and say, hey, my name is insert name here, and this what I'm be doing on my YouTube. Because whether you believe it or not, you've been saying for the last 5 years, 6 months, 3 years, 2 days, however long that you're going to start a YouTube. And it's always something, I need a light, I need a camera, I need a tripod, you got all these lists of I need. And then next thing you know, it's going to be 2024 and you ain't started a channel yet. And then you're going to feel like you're too old to start a channel. And then you're going to feel like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. All I'm going to tell you is this, right? If you want to start a YouTube channel, start a channel based on the thing that you are most passionate about. If it's beauty, start a beauty channel. If you are a mechanic and you want to help people like me fix their brakes, start that channel. If you want to write a book, write that book. If you want to play video games, play video games. You don't even have to have a PlayStation 5 or Xbox. You can use your phone. If you would like to know more about that, my email is down in the DM. Down in the DM. It's down below. But start that channel. If you don't know how to do something, ask someone who does. Don't worry about, oh, they not going to tell me, they not going to throw that out. In 2023, we throwing all of that out. If you want to start a YouTube channel, you can even go, hey, I want to start a YouTube channel about beauty. If you have tips on beauty, drop them in the comments below. Ask. 2023, get out of yourself and ask. The focus should be on you, but ask. Move pride out of the way. If you're trying to write a book, you want to start a clothing line, you want to start a t-shirt line, whatever you want to do, make a video and ask. Make a post and ask. The resources are out there. The money, if you're talking about you want to start it, is out there. The knowledge, the wealth, all of it is out there. You just got to lead with love. Love yourself enough to say, I am going to get this business up off the ground in 2023. What do I need to do? I need to find a supplier. Okay, let me talk to people in my neighborhood. Let me talk to people on social media. Who is y'all supplier? Where do you go to get bulk t-shirts? Or where do you go to get eyelashes? Or where do you go? Whatever it is that you look at, where do you go? Who do I talk to? What do I need? You want to start a podcast? My information is in the description box down below. Now, mind you, I got a whole studio set up because I'm an actual musician and all this stuff. But I could tell you how to do it with just your phone and one of these mics. Wait, hold on. I went to Amazon. So I got this mic. Actually, this mic came in a whole package with a tripod stand, one of those little lights, and a shoe mount where you could put other stuff on there. But I got that at Walmart for $30. Maybe you don't got $30. Guess what you could use? Just your phone and your camera. Your phone and the audio from your camera. You don't have to have all the name brand stuff. We just feel like we need to have all of that stuff so that we could be successful, when in reality, we just need to use the shit that we got. In real life, I would tell people all the time, like, I didn't have any of this stuff. I'm going to post on my, starting this week, I'm posting more on my Instagram, on my Reels, stories, shorts, all of those things. I'm going to start posting. Like, where I originally started, where it was just, like, originally, y'all going to see the original what I was working with until now. And it didn't happen overnight. It took me a little minute. I had to like figure out what I needed, why I needed it, how I was going to use it, how it would make what I'm doing better. I had to figure out all of that. When I said that it's important for us to lead with love in every aspect of our lives. Most importantly, it should start, number one, with yourself. You should do things to show that you love yourself. Don't put yourself in compromising situations. Don't put yourself in situations that overstep your boundaries. Things that you say, I wish a motherfucker would. Don't put yourself in situations or environments like that. Be true to yourself. Love yourself enough to be like, you know what? It interferes with my peace and with my positivity. It interferes and makes me feel bad. I'm not doing it. Give yourself that. I don't need to have that drink because I need to just sit down and deal with whatever it is that's going on. And I'm not talking about if you're having a celebratory drink. I'm saying, like, oh, this is a rough day. Let me go. Just deal with it. Acknowledge. Apply emotions. Apply words to your emotions. Feel that. Feel what that feels. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. You should be able to ask yourself why 5 times. I went to a pitch competition, right? And this lady, she's a well-known lady. She has a what is it called? Not Bitcoin. It's some kind of crypto. She's well-known in that space. And she said you should be able to ask if somebody asks you why 5 times, you should be able to answer the question. And so she was like, who want to be the subject? And I was like, you know me. I was one of those kids in school, who wants to read the first? I always raise my hand because let me tell you all the theory behind it. Because I figured if you go first, there's a little pressure on you when you go first, but there's even more pressure if you go last. Because now there's people, like, you ever go to a program and there's a singer and you up to sing next and somebody kill, like they blaze. And it's like, I got to follow that. Now I got to figure out another song or I got to do something different. When in reality, all you got to do is just be you. So I raised my hand. She asked me, what do you do? And I was like, this is what I do. Why do you do it? And I said, why? And what would happen if you, and she just broke it all down. And I was like, she's like, dang, you could go for days. I was like, yeah, because I really thought about why I do it. So when I say, if you want to start a YouTube, think about why you want to start a YouTube. If it's for the money, don't do it. You want to start TikTok or YouTube or anything for the money, don't do it. They asked me on the podcast I was interviewed on. They said, why do you do it? I said, because I like to build a community. I like the community I have built here on YouTube. When my father passed, when I got sick, when my mother, like you all were here for me. Like, you were sending me text messages, emails, DMs. We were conversating in Discord. Like, it was so many, like, it's the community. I can't buy that. I mean, I could, but it wouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? I can't buy that. is that for me. The community here, I love the community on Twitch. Is the community that is built, like getting to know people on a level outside of YouTube. Like, okay, how did y'all meet? Oh, YouTube or Twitch or TikTok. Oh yeah, but then building and helping each other grow and getting to know each other and just be there for each other. That's always been me. I always had my house was like my house has always been a community space, a safe space for people, especially for members of the LGBTQIA plus community. You don't have to worry about being judged, even if you're not a member of the community. But my house has always been that. If you need a safe space, you need nurturing conversation. If you need space to talk, that's just always been me. And what I realize is that that's been my grandmother, that has been my mother, that is me. Like that's just a part of me. I tried not to be like that. I tried not to care. I tried. It didn't last long, as y'all can see. It didn't last long, but I tried. Hi, body goes. Welcome in. I tried. But the thing that I realized, especially I realized even more about myself during a journey of healing and self discovery, is that I don't care how, what, when, why people do to me, I'm going to always be what I want them to be. I want them to be loved. I want them to be respectful. I want them to be honest. I want to empower and I want to inspire people. So I will always be that. And if at any time I just told my mother this. I said, you remember when he was little? And it's like, if you don't have nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. That doesn't necessarily apply to if you have something negative to say. That literally means if you have nothing good to say, just be quiet. And I found myself being quiet a lot of times because sometimes, you be situations be going on and you want to say something, but it just be like, why am I even giving energy to that? Why would I even? And then I laugh. I'm sorry, I just laugh because it's like I can't believe there was a time in my life that I actually entertained that. You ever, you ever had a moment in your life where it's like, what was I thinking? Do you ever ask yourself that? I feel like we don't ask ourselves the tough questions. That's why we don't really we love ourselves. Cause yeah, I love myself. I go get my nails done. I go get my hair done. But then you have your mind is saying, "Hey, we need a break. We need you to stop working. We just need you to just give us 20 minutes." Sometimes all our body asks for is 20 minutes. Could you just go lay down? Like, I don't know if your body, but my body be like, hey, we just need you to lay down for a minute. And given the circumstances, I had strokes, nervous breakdowns, all of that, I listen. You ain't got to tap me and be like, no, we not moving today. I go in there and lay down. And I don't be sleep. I just be laying and I be relaxed. And then my mind is like not running all over the place. It's like, okay, what are we going to do when we get up? Okay, we going to work on this. We going to work on that. It's like clarity, clarity. If your mind is telling you to rest, rest. If you ever have that feeling, I call it I call it that inner self. You might call it the still small voice. It might be a loud voice. Maybe it's the feeling you get in your stomach, right? If you have that feeling when you go to do something and it's there and it's prevalent, don't negate that. Don't just be like, oh no, my stomach hurt and what I ate today don't agree with me. Maybe that is the case. But maybe, just maybe, your mind, your body, everything is trying to save you. And I don't mean like from like imminent danger. I do mean that, but I mean like it is trying to save you from making the decision that could harm you in the future. You know what I'm saying? If you don't feel like if you let's go on this date and you don't feel that date, don't go on a date. Like if you wake up in the morning, it's like I don't feel like going to work. I know you got bills and everything, but don't go to work because we all know what happens when you don't feel like doing something and you do it. What you gonna give it half-ass? You gonna half-ass it, or you gonna be irritated the entire time? So don't do it. 2023, set those boundaries and stand on it. You know what? If I feel like I need to rest, I'm gonna go lay down or I'm gonna kick my feet up for a minute and just chill. Put on a little meditation app and just chill. If I need to get out of situations, I'm not going to be afraid to get out of those situations. I'm going to use my words and get out of those situations. My boss want me to stay overtime, but it's my baby birthday. I'm going to choose my baby birthday over my boss overtime. I know I need that money to pay my bills, but my baby is far more important. You're trying to decide, oh, I need to go. I can't go to my baby game because I got to be at work. And then it's not even your shift that you're supposed to work. You're trying to make sure that your coworker is straight. Go to your baby game. Go to the game, the cheerleading, the ballerina, the stage play, whatever it is they have, because you never know how much that's like a positive reinforcement. It gives them that courage, like, oh, my mother came. Even, you don't even have to go. I'm not saying go to each and every one of them, but show up. If they like, oh, this is a championship, or oh, this is something huge for them, show up. If you show up, if you actually let them know like you care, and don't just show up at parent teacher conferences, because we already know why people go to parent teacher conferences, and it's like, now I'm about to get yelled at because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. Granted, but show up when they need you the most. If your child goes from being active and social, and then they like not active, or they not social, and they in a room all the time, and they don't, want to hang out, ask your child if they're okay. You don't have to be direct, like, hey, what's wrong with you? Ask them, are they okay? Take them on a date, or I say date, but take them to get something to eat. Take them to get their favorite ice cream or something, and strike up a conversation with them and see what's going on with them. Because the last thing you want to do is something happen to them, and then you feel like, I should have asked more questions. I should have did, should have. That's all you be hearing all the time, every time. Should have. I wish I would have talked to people. I be talking to everybody. I real life talk to everybody. I don't be trying to be in people's business, but you ain't going to tell me that you don't feel yourself, and I'm just be like, oh, okay, I'm going to see you next time. No, we're going to need to talk about it. What don't you feel is normal? What is going on? How can I help? Is there anything that I could do? A lot of times people just be needing people to listen. Sometimes you don't got to talk all the time. They just need people to listen. And a lot of times what I find out is, a lot of times when people talk, they already figure out the solution. They just needed somebody to listen. They just needed the opportunity to speak it out loud. Most people are more comfortable with speaking to people out loud. Or there's also people that talk to themselves. Before it'd be like, oh, you're talking to themselves, they're a little crazy. But I feel like people should be talking. They should be asking themselves the tough questions. Why do you want to be in a relationship and you just got out of a relationship? Are you afraid of being alone? Are you afraid that you don't feel worthy enough? Are you afraid that you're going to have to deal with the demons that's on the inside of you? And I don't mean to call them demons, but, deal with the traumas and things that you experience in your life. Are you afraid, if you're not occupied in a relationship or a job, that then you have to take care of yourself? Like, why don't you? Why don't you choose you? That's what I'll end with. We should lead with love. And for the rest of 2023, the focus is on me. Lead with love. That's like intimate, that's personal, that's lead with love. Don't just talk about it, be about it, in my Beyonce voice. Don't just talk about it, be about it. If you love somebody, show them that you love them. Spend time with them. Spend time getting to know them. How many times you hung out with somebody, or somebody, and something happened, you realize you have no clue who they were? Spend time getting to know them. Don't just know of them, know them. Know their likes and dislikes. Know what makes them tick. Know what makes them happy, what makes them sad. Know that. Lead with love. And in 2023, let the focus be on me. That's a good. I will lead with love, and For 2023, the focus will be on me. That could be a mantra. That could be an affirmation you could say. I will lead with love. And for 2023, the focus will be on me. Yeah, that's dope. I like that. Lead with love. I know it probably seemed like I jumped all around, but I just really wanted to make sure that I said that if you're a parent and you disown your child because of their identification as a member of the LGBT community, I want you to reconsider that disowning. I want you to reconsider what it was like when you were growing up and your parents disowned or rejected you and how that made you feel and how that cycle has begun again in your life, but this time you are the person to cause that cycle to begin on your child. And think about your child and their future children if they decide to have them, or even their future stepchildren, how they will treat them, how that will lead them to treat them. I feel like if more people do unto others, if they will have them do unto them, we would be in a better position in life. If more parents spent more time loving their household, loving the children, loving, showing love, expressing love, I feel like there would be less people out here. There will be less insecurities. There will be more people who love themselves, more self love. There will be more humanity. It will be a lot more. Lead with love. If for 2023, let the focus be on me. That's all I got. Remember that it is important for you to use your words. That is the only way that anyone will ever know what you are feeling and what you are thinking. I will never let a live video, vlog, show, or anything that I present to you go out without me telling you to love yourself. This includes your faults, fears, and failures. Those are the most important times you're supposed to love yourself. I know it's easy to love yourself when you're up there, and they be like, oh, it's easier said than done. You actually already do it. You just have to acknowledge that you do it. Love yourself. Know yourself. Trust yourself. That small voice, that loud voice, your body, the tenseness of your body, your stomach, that thing, that feeling you get in the pit of your stomach, as most people say. Trust that. And for the love of humanity, just be yourself. Why? Because you need you. I need you. This great big old world needs you to be exactly who you were created to be. Now, if anybody cannot love, respect, or appreciate you for being authentically you, they do not deserve to be in your space. Set that boundary and stand 10 toes down on it in 2023. Set boundaries. If you feel like you are in a space where you are overwhelmed, seek therapy. There is nothing wrong with you going to therapy to talk about it. If you go to church, if you attend any religious organization, if you celebrate or if you practice organized religion, it is okay for you to go to therapy. Jesus and therapy brings a balance. Buddha, Allah, whoever it is, your deity and therapy brings a balance. 2023, the focus is on you. Bring balance. Make sure you get your toiletries, non-perishable food items, water, disinfectant, set some cash money to the side. And if you are engaging in adult activities, make sure you wrap that shit up, because I don't know if you've seen it, but the STD rates are really rising. Make sure that you wash your hands, because we are in influenza season and because COVID still exists in whatever number form it is. That's all I got. You know what time it is. If you don't know what time it is, if you have a minute and you haven't hit like or you haven't hit subscribe, go ahead and do that for me. I'll greatly appreciate that. Feel free to explore the channel. I have workout videos, juicing videos coming up tonight at 10:30. There's going to be a nighttime meditation. Yeah, just feel free to check out the channel. And if you're free next Sunday at 7, I'll be right here having another conversation. That's all I got. Until next time, you know what time it is. If you don't know what time it is, I suggest you watch the fingers, sweetie, because they will tell you. Until next time, I love you. Peace.